This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Money isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Another right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show. A snowy Saturday morning. Talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio. If you're watching us live on one of our social media pages, we appreciate you. And if this is your first time checking us out, thank you very much. Thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. As always, I'm joined by the other host of the show, DJ Q and Noah. Good morning.
Good morning.
What up? Man, it's just looking kind of brisk outside this morning.
Yeah, I've already been out in it.
Have you?
Yeah, I had to shovel my driveway and all that.
And you said out in it like you've been on 70, you've been on 435, you've been out just rolling around.
Yeah, I was out driving around too earlier. So yeah.
Really? Man.
No bueno.
How are the roads this
morning?
Bad.
It's not bad. Like it's the city has done a really good job of not only preparing for the storms, but just having trucks out. And at least in my area, like my neighborhood, we already have a plow, but I saw the city plows out too. So
really? Okay. All right. So coming up on today's show, we have a lot to talk about. After 18 weeks, exciting weeks, long weeks, this NFL 2022 playoffs. They're calling it the super playoff weekend, which I mean, I don't know how super you can really get. They're trying to add a little bit more to it, I guess. Get folks to watch. It starts today and kicks off with the some teams that we're trying to really check out, and that's the Buffalo Bills. They're going to take on the New England Patriots, Tom Brady-less Patriots. We'll see how that shakes out. And we're going to talk a little bit about Josh Allen coming up on later on in today's show. Also, the sports world went crazy as the Georgia Bulldogs defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide. No, we're gonna see what your thoughts are on that a little bit later. Also, Nike and Columbia Sportswear preparing to fire and unvaccinated employees. Go figure. And the Steelers coach Mike Tomlin is the NFL's only active black head coach currently in the league. We'll share our thoughts on that. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our sneakers of the week during our Hate It or Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
So after 18 long weeks, the 2022 NFL playoffs are finally here, kicking off with the wild card weekend matchups that you don't want to miss. I'm guessing you don't want to miss if you're fans of any of those teams, or if your team is still playing in the mix this weekend. So it starts today and ends tomorrow, or actually ends on Monday night with some teams playing because they were added. This year Monday Night Football was added to the playoffs, which is kind of weird. I thought the Chiefs were going to be in that Monday night
game.
I really did. So the game that we have our eyes on is set for tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football primetime matchup between the Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the take on the Steelers tomorrow at GEHA Field inside of Arrowhead Stadium at 7:15. I spoke to Chief Safety Tyrann Mathieu earlier this week and talked about being favored in tomorrow's game. Let's hear what he had to say. What's up, Tyrann? How are you doing?
What's up? Doing good.
Not much, man. Hey, you guys are favored on Sunday, but I get the vibe from you that you like to embrace the underdog role. Am I correct in saying that? And if you could give your thoughts on being a favorite as opposed to being the dog.
Yeah, I think, obviously, anytime you're an underdog, you feel like you have more to fight for. You feel like the world is against you. I mean, this is playoff football. It doesn't matter if you're the underdog, the top dog. You got to find a way to take the field and win the game. That's really what this is all about. Trying our best to just win one game at a time, not get too far ahead of ourselves. Just focus on the opponent that's in front of us. And I think for the most part this week, we've been able to do that. I think our coaches, have really been able to help us just focus on today, and not tomorrow.
Q, your thoughts on what he had to say?
He said out everything he was supposed to say, really emphasizing, what part of the season this is, and and really just emphasizing the intensity level that you have to come in on. Like, it's playoff football, it's no excuses. Like, just even feeling like knowing what it feels like to be the underdog. Like, if you're a favorite or you're an underdog, you still got to come in and fight. And that's the overall point of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. When you look at the Chiefs and Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers earlier this week, just talking about, we're not supposed to be here. We're kind of playing with house money, right? We are. I think he kind of is to the point where he's like, man, I'm just here, and just trying to let it ride out. I'm trying to ride out into the sunset. Noah, what do you think about Ben, and will this be his last game tomorrow?
I mean, you can just kind of tell just the vibe that you're getting from both sides. I mean, it is still football. It's any given Sunday. But at the same time, you just kind of get that creeping feeling that the Chiefs are going to, blow this one wide open. Just because, I mean, you just look at the teams and how they've been performing, the last half of the season. It's clear to see that the Chiefs are kind of, hitting on all cylinders. I mean, the Cincinnati game may have been, one that they dropped, but I mean, they just, even before that, they were just, everything was working. The defense was playing well. The offense, wasn't turning the ball over as much. It was just, everything was just kind of working. And that's kind of what you want, week 14, 15, 16, 17 before the playoffs, is you want everything kind of, your ducks all in a row and you playing, as sharp as can be. But it just kind of seems like, the Pittsburgh Steelers, like you said, are just happy to be here, kind of. And I know they're not, it's grown men in that locker room. They want to beat the Chiefs just as bad as the next team. But it just kind of feels like there's this big chasm as far as like talent is concerned in this game. It's like the Chiefs have everything working and the Steelers are just kind of, struggling to get in there. They just kind of fell into the playoffs.
For sure. Now we should take a look at our Super Bowl picks that we had at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I'm so ashamed of myself.
Yeah. I mean, why be ashamed though?
The Browns.
No, you shouldn't be ashamed because you jumped on the Baker train, with
He really did.
You know what? You can't even talk. You got the Dolphins over there.
No,
I feel better.
I purposely picked that. Like I definitely like to throw, one of those wild card teams out there, one of those young teams that I believe in. And I mean, the Dolphins was that. Like I believe in Tua. I still believe in Tua. But even the Seahawks pick, that was a bad pick. But
I was going to say we all had one team that just don't belong. Like, because I still have pretty much faith in my NFC Championship game. I don't know if it'll shake out that way, but I do see the Packers, getting to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, and of course the Chiefs out of the AFC.
But it makes you think though, like when you look at how LA's been playing, how the Rams have been playing, right? They gave up a 17-point lead to the San Francisco 49ers.
That's an in-division game too. Like you look at a rivalry like that, like it can go any way, just like Chiefs Chargers.
Yeah, but you give up 17. To give up 17 though in that division game, which is why I'm saying it's like you are looking to make the Super Bowl. You were for the NFC West. You were tied with Arizona, and so now it's just like it's kind of bleak. Will the Rams, end how they've ended, these past 3 or 4 years? Like
they limped into the playoffs. I agree with you 100%, Steve, and that's why I'm not confident in them doing anything. Is when you limp into the playoffs, and I mean the one thing the Rams have going for them, and I'll say this 10 times out of 10, when you have supremely talented players on defense going into the playoffs, you have a chance, because we know that the most important part of the game in the playoffs is your defense. I mean, you can slip up and score 14, 17 points and still win a playoff game because your defense is completely locked in. So the Rams have that, and they have a little bit of offensive talent as well. So they just got to kind of get it together, man. But I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Now, the sports world went crazy as the Georgia Bulldogs defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Dogs turned up with the scoring 27 points in the second half.
Interesting. Just watching Alabama over the past. I'll be modest and say 5 years, right? They've owned college football. Nick Saban has figured it out. He's figured out, to get the best players, however he's doing it. And they're always just winning. And he puts guys in the league, and he gets guys that are have an extreme caliber of talent. And I think that is the reason why they're able to beat up on these teams in college football. And I thought Cincinnati was going to knock them off. I really did. I thought that, they were going to be able to go out there and prove a lot of people wrong, actually. But it didn't happen. And you looked how Cincinnati played. They came out. So Alabama came out, scored. And I'm like, all right, if Cincinnati doesn't come out and score, they're going to lose this game. What'd they do? They came out, kicked the field goal, and it was a wrap after that.
Yeah.
So different game with Georgia.
And Cincinnati's not one of those programs that's that powerhouse yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure that they can play with the SEC and really even the Pac-12. Like I don't think they can compete with those type of teams yet. But yeah, this Georgia Alabama game, it was a shock. I mean, people talked about how the Georgia defense was and how they're pretty stout, but you didn't expect this type of performance, especially from Alabama.
I honestly, once I seen how the game was kind of going, and I seen how Georgia was getting after that freshman quarterback, that's always the key to rattling a quarterback is you have to get after him. You have to get him moving his feet. And Alabama, they just didn't do it as well as Georgia did. And that's, a trademark of Alabama teams is very stout defense, sideline to sideline linebackers and hard-hitting safeties. And it just looked like Georgia was the aggressor. So I was supremely impressed. I did not expect it. I thought Alabama would just, kind of turn into that beast. But they never turned that corner. And then they also had a freshman quarterback who was very, very talented, but at the same time, still a freshman quarterback.
And you get teams that just go in there, they're hype going into the first half, and then second half they just lay down. It's like it's like, man, what were we thinking? We really overmatched.
Yeah.
So Georgia didn't lay down. Their defense stepped up and played huge, and they came out as a victor.
But and then again, you talk about just the difference of playoff football, and even looking at just what we were talking about previous, just teams limping into the playoffs. But you start 0-0 when that ball is kicked off.
Yeah,
so This is true.
Now, I love to see it for Georgia's sake too. You can call me a hater, but I'm sick of Alabama. So I love to see it for them. I know they've gotten a lot of flack for celebrating, and oh my God, just because. But I love to see it for them. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of people do actually. It's good. It's good for them.
Gives Pittsburgh hope.
I don't think so.
Look, you say that, and then the Chiefs go out there and lay an egg tomorrow, and then all hell is gonna break loose. But
I
no,
mean,
I
we
think
were at the Super Bowl.
we were, but that's the thing though. Like I don't want to go back to talking NFL
Yeah.
playoffs, but you think about that, and it's like, man, we know what happened, and we weren't even playing. That's still in
Yeah.
the back of our minds. But think about if you were actually playing in that game. It's like, man, we didn't come out and score a touchdown. Nah, that's not going to happen again. We know what that feeling's like, So
For sure. Now, after 3 seasons, Brian Flores is out as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Hate it.
The move came as a surprise. Flores appeared to have righted to the ship after a shaky start, but Dolphins owner Stephen Ross apparently felt that the team's step backward this season was unacceptable. Hugh, we'll start with you.
I hate it. It alludes to, the entire conversation that Mike Tomlin's conversation alludes to last week, and it just being the lack of black coaches in the NFL and really getting their opportunity. So this one was a head scratcher. Some of the other ones, especially the black coaches this year, some of the other ones you could kind of make a point, but still just only giving 1 to 2 seasons is not enough. And for the young talent that they have on this team, it just shows that teams like the Dolphins and the Texans are really reaching for, if Jim Harbaugh comes back or like this big sexy hire versus people that can really develop your players. And that's what he did with this team. I mean, the Dolphins were barely even talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And his record alone against Bill Belichick in the past couple of seasons, it speaks volumes to the type of coach that he is, given the pieces.
We all
go ahead, Steve.
We all know that the writing has been on the wall since the beginning of the inception of the NFL, right? It's been like black coaches in the league, and they have a shorter leash. They really do, and this definitely shows. This definitely shows that those black coaches have a shorter leash, and the simple fact that you have a winning record. You have a winning record. You the past 2 years. Ownership should know, like, all right, we have a young QB that's still learning. We can't expect much. What more are you going to expect? What is another coach going to come in there and do that Brian Flores wasn't able to do?
Mm-hmm.
He's not out there hiking the ball and throwing the ball and catching the ball. He's not. So the players are going to stay the same. Your opportunity now to get Deshaun Watson has definitely diminished because he would have played for Brian Flores. Deshaun was going to waive his no trade clause to go to Miami and play for him. So unless you go out there and try to get Eric Bieniemy, which could happen, I don't think you're going to be able to right this shit anytime.
I don't want that to happen, if I'm being honest. We all have, in the 4 major sports, we all have those poverty franchises. And unfortunately, the Miami Dolphins have turned into a poverty franchise. When they make moves like this, complete head scratchers, which, there may be a difference of opinion in management versus coaching and players that the coach may or may not have chosen, especially when it comes to Tua. He made do with what he had. And he coached. He had a great stout defense. They went on a 8-game winning streak this year. When was the last time they did something like that? But I'm actually happy for Brian Flores because he's out of that situation, and we know he's a good coach, so he's going to get another opportunity somewhere else. That's a better opportunity.
Well, we don't know if it'll be a better opportunity, but because Houston has come out, there's reports that is circling, in the coaching world that he may be a sure win for the Houston job. So,
does that mean that Deshaun Watson comes back? Because I don't want him coming back with
Deshaun's not going to stay there. No, he's out.
And I don't want him there because I want Brian Flores to go somewhere where he has a good starting quarterback, and able to work with management, have a working relationship with management to where they're not just on opposite sides of the fence. Because I think that's what happened in Miami. They were just, what else could have happened? He was winning games.
Yeah.
So I hope he gets a better opportunity, basically.
Yeah, and Houston has just watching the game last week against Tennessee. Houston's young quarterback, he's
Talking
not.
about David
Yeah.
Mills. David Mills pretty good.
Yeah.
He's nice.
good.
Like,
He's
I mean,
not bad.
it's not bad. It's not a
He's
bad.
not bad. He's not, but he's also not what I want him to have. I want him to have like a top 15, top 12 type quarterback. That might be too much to ask.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. If you're a coaching candidate, you know, going to a team, are you want to go to a team that's just fired their coach after winning 9 games? 2 seasons in a row? I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't want to go to a team now where we've just fired our coach. So the general manager is going to be on pins and needles. Like, all right, I've got this new coach coming in. Now I'm going to have to micromanage. I wouldn't want to be micromanaged. You know, I'd like to go to a program or a job where the general manager who's hiring me is has a fresh start there as well. You know, we're both there at the same time. He handpicked me. We're both coming in trying to turn things around. So that's just me.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to create a culture there because it's like you're coming in, because you make a point coming in with the new GM. It's going to be tough to really create that culture. And whatever coach comes in, are they giving him the keys? And I would hope for whatever job that Brian Flores gets next, I hope they really give him the keys because it just looks like the Dolphins I don't know if they didn't have any confidence in them or whatever it is, because it just feels like a fire sale to them right now.
It definitely does.
No, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss Agent Rich Paul met with the 76ers regarding Ben Simmons' trade, and stances are unchanged. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
We're tuned into the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook.
Interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. Now, Rich Paul met with the 76ers regarding Ben Simmons' trade, and stances are unchanged. The agent for Ben Simmons, Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, met with Sixers Daryl Morey and Elton Brand to discuss the status of stalemate today. And stances are unchanged. Simmons no longer is closer to playing the season, and the Sixers are determined to bring a significant player in trade.
It's crazy. As much as we want to say that players have the power, these teams are really gonna hold guys back. And it's like, all right, if you're not gonna play with us, we're just gonna sit you there, right? And it's mind-boggling, but it is what it is. It's like you could actually trade him and get some value as you're getting ready to go on a playoff run. So it's really crazy. I mean, we've seen it in other sports as well. We've seen it with Deshaun Watson. We've seen it with I mean, even going back to the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years ago. We've seen it with Le'Veon Bell, right? Guys don't want to play, and it's like, all right, cool. We ain't gonna move you. We'll sit you right over there at your crib, and you can watch us play. And whether we lose, the owners would rather lose than let these guys go somewhere and see someone else win. Which I'm not mad at it. It's just the cost of doing business, right? But it's mind-boggling, really.
And that's not the cost of business, because if we're taking emotions out of it, that's just them being petty and
of course.
and teams going on a power trip. You know, I always say it's about control with these teams. If they can control, your outcome, they're gonna do it. And no matter how negatively it affects you. But yeah, you hate it for these players that they get held hostage like that, especially for family environments.
Being weak. I hate to say it. I don't like his temperament. I don't like how he's went about any of this. And when it comes to this situation, it is a whole lot of pointing fingers and he said, she said, or he did, she did type of thing. Because, last year in the playoffs, Joel Embiid came out straight up and said, you're the reason we lost. I mean, he said it in live, like on TV. He said it. We have the quote. We have the video. But it's just one of those things where it's like, man, we just dragging this out. Somebody be mature and say, all right, let's move on. This partnership isn't working. I believe they even stopped finding him for not showing up. Like, I just want a resolution, because Ben is a very talented basketball player, and the Sixers are a good team that need an extra push, and it's just not helping anybody. But I mean, it looks like Ben Simmons is saying, if you like it, I love it, because he hasn't came out and said nothing.
That's the word. That's the point. When you that's the point of, like, all right, when you look at not only basketball but NFL, baseball, when there's a guy that's unhappy at his place, if he comes out and starts being vocal, what does the team do? Oh, we got to get this guy out of here. It's damaging to the team. But if you sit there and don't say anything, then I think the team has the upper hand. It's like whatever they say goes, right? So I think, with Ben not coming out there and saying, oh, well, this is how I feel. This is what the organization has done. This is what Joel Embiid said to me. We know what he said, but it's like, all right, this is how I feel. And so I'm not playing for you guys. Trade me now. These are the teams that I'm open to going to. If Ben comes out there and says, all right, these teams, I want to go to play here or play here, make it happen, I think, some things would happen.
And how do you guys feel this compares to James Harden last season?
James a little more valuable. I'll say that just off the rip. James a little more valuable. I think James, I don't know, it seems like he went about it a different way. It wasn't so much that I hate Houston. I think he just said, really, I just don't want to be here anymore. I think our time has passed. I've done everything I can do here. I've accomplished a whole lot. We didn't get the ultimate goal, but we came pretty close, and that was a big part of that. It seems like Ben is like, he hasn't exhausted all his options. He hasn't done everything he could possibly. He hasn't he's made some all NBA, he made some all defensive teams, but it just seems like Ben has more to give. And he just was like, you know what? I'm not going to give my all to you guys. I don't feel like you guys, respected me enough or gave me enough love for me to be here. And Philly is a tough place to play.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly. So it just seems a little bit different. But, it might be the same exact thing. You never know.
But here's the thing. Here's two things about James Harden where Ben Simmons hasn't done that. One, KD pushed for him to get him. In Brooklyn, KD and Kyrie, they both, kind of gave the go ahead. It's like, all right, go out there and get him. Do what you have to do to get him. And then what was James Harden doing while the team was playing? Hanging with little baby,
kicking it at the club. That's why. Yeah, that's why.
being very vocal. So it's like, nah, this ain't a good look. Every time the camera turns on, every time there's a sports show, they're going to show James Harden not with the team doing other things. So we got to ship him. We got to get him somewhere else. So that being said, Ben Simmons needs to look at that. It's like, all right, if you really want to be moved, then here it is. But I think he's like, man, I'll just let it play out. I just sit back, collect my money, get a year off of basketball, train, do what I need to do, perfect my jumper.
He's not doing that.
No,
he's not doing that.
I mean, at least he
He's
didn't
not doing
at least he didn't take his jersey off and do a lap around the court.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for not doing
got him out of there though.
It could have. You never know. I mean,
now you see why people do react differently.
We do not see. We don't. I'm sorry. I'm not letting you have nope. Philly fan. If he hadn't did that and said, gave the finger to the Philly fans, he wouldn't have made it out that arena.
Yeah, nah, he wouldn't have.
he wouldn't have made it out. So.
Now, Dwayne Wade says they're going to forget about Michael Jordan like we forgot about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's hear what he had to say first.
D Wade was like, the crazy thing about this is D Wade and the podcast he was on was kind of just on the simple fact of, all right, we're just gonna forget about MJ. We gonna forget about him, and I think fans really, as fans get younger, I think they really will. I really do. I mean,
when you say forget, what do you mean? When you say forget, what do you mean forget?
As fans get younger, I take my son as an example. 10 years old, right? Mm-hmm. If he's not watching basketball and watching basketball right now, then as he gets to be 20, he's gonna be like, all right, well, whoever's the top player is gonna be who he likes or who he remembers. He wasn't really around to see Jordan, so it is what it is. What I tell him about Jordan, or what I show him that Jordan was, watching YouTube or watching The Last Dance or stuff like that. But a lot of parents don't take the time out to show their kids, like, all right, this is what guys were. Mm-hmm. All they know now is Steph Curry, LeBron James, and it's going to be on LeBron's final couple years, and fans, newborns won't really know who LeBron was.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's going to be tougher, I guess, now, because I mean, these guys got shoe deals that last for 20 years.
Yeah.
Jordan shoes, I would say Jordan, it's going to be hard to forget Jordan, just because Jordan shoes are literally a pillar in the Black community. I hate to say it. I really hate to say that.
You shouldn't hate to say it, but yeah.
But it is, because that's just kind of a thing that we grew up doing. Like we grew up for the shoes. We grew up to wait outside to get into Foot Locker to go get the shoes. Like I did.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, even though when I wasn't old enough to understand what Jordan was doing when he was in the league, I knew who he was because of the shoes. Like, it's the shoes. Yeah. Jordan. Who's that? Let me go see. Oh, this is Jordan. This is who he is. It's going to be hard to forget those guys. For Kareem, it's like, it just wasn't enough cameras around. There wasn't enough. He wasn't a part of the culture enough. He was a part of a different culture where it's like, I'm fighting for rights. I'm fighting for your right to actually be here, young man. So it's like he made a different impact on our youth. But like, it's gonna be hard to fit Jordan, man. Shoes, man. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and Noel makes a point, because I see what D Wade is saying, and I think he's looking at the popularity. Like, when I was 19, not even 19, but when I was in high school, and you shoot, something at the garbage can, you're like, oh, Jordan, fade away, and then it slowly turned into, oh, Kobe. So it's like, it's little things like that. Yeah, that'll change. But like Noel said, I think Jordan was too important to the culture. And that's just what it is. Like, you shouldn't hate to say that his shoes are that, because everybody's not going to wear hard bottoms, for forever. And streetwear and sneaker culture is definitely the biggest thing in fashion right now. And not even just right now, really over the last 10 years. And you could thank brands and people like Jordan that really push the culture forward.
And let's hear what D Wade had to say.
These GOATs, these names that we throw out, it's not going to just be a lot of those players. But
the game continue to keep moving forward. And so we're going to continue to see things we've never seen before. And the eyes are going to get younger and younger. We're not going to be ones having a conversation about the GOATs. Now it's going to be the younger generation. And they're going to forget about Jordan like we forget about Kareem. Yeah, as you guys hear that, the younger generation, if parents, and I can say parents, because it's on the parents. If parents aren't pushing the young people to understand what the history of whatever game that they want to play, whether it's baseball, soccer, football, whatever. If parents don't push their kids to understand, all right, well, these are the people who paved the way, or these are the people, this is the history of the game, then it'll definitely change to where kids are only, all right, I just know Lonzo Ball, I don't know Scottie Pippen, or I don't know Dennis Rodman, I don't know the game like they should. But I think true athletes understand, like, all right, we got to show our kids, like, here's the guys that paved the way, here's the guys that were the real stars.
I would even extend it to even outside of sports. Like, let's take music, for example. I feel like when you raise the best musicians is when you, like, talk to them about, like, anybody in the past. Talk to them about Motown. Like, talk to them about, like, where did the sound come from? Where did that beat that you're using, that you rapping over, it wasn't always somebody rapping over it, was somebody singing over it. Like, when you raise the best in whatever fields you're in, you have to go back. You have to go back.
For sure. And we were touching base on, like, the shoe lines, and what I kind of thought of is, like, clothing. Of course, there's, like, Jordan hoodies, sweatpants, all that type of stuff. And what we've seen lately is, like, oh, you know, Champion was booming, and now it's like you can see it in Walmart or whatever, and then it's making a comeback. And, like, part of me doesn't see, like, Jordan going in Walmart type vibes, you know, like, it's like that kind of makes me feel like I don't feel like it could fall out in that fashion. I always feel like it's going to be a staple regardless of what the trends are.
But you say that, you know what's hurting it, and it kind of goes on those same lines. It's like YouTube is really hurting. Like, you'll have some kids that feel like Jake Paul is the best fighter ever. Or you know, when you look down the line and they watching all these YouTube things and YouTube highlights and all this kind of stuff, it's like, oh yeah, Jake Paul, he did this, now he's the fighter, he's the best fighter ever. Not knowing there was Muhammad Ali, there was Mike Tyson, there was these other fighters, but now that they don't see those guys, all they know is Jake Paul, right? So I think,
but these kids have the internet and YouTube, and once you start getting in a boxing rabbit hole, those algorithms will just, they'll put the Ali's and
but they don't though. They don't. They. I mean, just because you have you'll go to Jake Paul, then you'll go to whatever other YouTube sensation there is.
I think the cream of the crop gonna rise. I think,
that's exactly what it is.
I think when it comes down to that, whatever field you're in, like I said, the best of the best, they're gonna eventually, like, study the greats, and the people that are just kind of doing it for a hobby, they'll stick to the Jake Pauls and that sort of thing. So I think just it'll take care of itself. I'm not gonna say the youth don't have it. The youth has it. I think
because there's purists in every generation.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Now, Nike and Columbia Sportswear preparing to fire unvaccinated employees. The workers at Nike previously announced its vaccine mandate, and then they have until Saturday to be compliant, and their fellow sportswear giant confirmed this week that workers are refusing vaccination will be terminated. No, we'll start with you.
Good. Go ahead, get the vax.
All right, you're correct. But here's the thing about it too. No, it's like these folks are going to be, Nike and Columbia, they're going to have a huge lawsuit on their hands. Let's just say I'm a contracted employee. I'm not a contracted employee. I'm an employee who's on salary. That means I have somewhere on a dotted line that says this is my job description. Nowhere in that dotted line is there that earmark that says, oh, plus you need to be vaccinated. If I was hired in 2018 and my contract says this, I'm going by what my contract says. You not gonna sit up here and tell me that now you're gonna change my contract. That's not what I signed. So it's gonna be a legal battle. It's definitely gonna be a legal battle.
There's not gonna be a legal battle. There is no battle, because companies can change their policies. they can change a lot of different things, and especially when it's concerned to public health. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
So cute because how can you fight that? It's like, all right, here's my contract. You gave us the opportunity before to work from home, right? I should be afforded that same opportunity that we had when COVID was first, announced, or that the findings were, first out there. So now you're telling me that I can't come to work and do my job. Well, I don't need to come. We've shown that I've been able to do my job from home for this whole year. So now I'm going to sue you, Nike. I'm going to sue you, Columbia, because my contract shows me that I'm making $80,000 a year, and you let Ann get away with what she did.
No, because they allowed Ann to do that because Ann was bringing in money. You're not bringing in money with COVID. You gonna make people. You're not gonna bring in people without being vaccinated, because you're either gonna die on the job or something like. No, I'm being dramatic, but no, you're not. No, you're not Ann's son. You're not a VP. You're not a higher up. You're not allowed to cheat and steal. You're too poor to cheat and steal.
So what's wrong with just letting that particular worker work remote? Why? Like, if their job can be accomplished, I think that is terminating a strike.
I would agree with that. Yeah, like go ahead, let them. Just know, I just want you to know that if you're not vaccinated, don't be out here peddling around with us, because we don't want what you have. We don't want it. And I get it. You can still get it when you get vaccinated, you get your booster, blase. I get that part. But you're putting other people at risk. That's where I'm coming from with it.
And we're talking about working from home. Aren't these like retail employees?
No, these are actually, this excludes warehouse workers and retail employees. So these are just people that work for the company itself, the behind the scenes. So these people, they're saying they have to be either vaxxed or you get out.
And they're probably still front facing jobs. So again, like you going around people, I don't want my employees to be the the super spreader, that causes super spreader events. So yeah, it's a bit of caution and public health behind that. And you can't sue somebody for saying, well, hey, you didn't take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and the people around you. We don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, man.
Man, that's just like walking around. That's like me walking around with, man, I don't know. What's the most disgusting thing that you can think of that I'm walking around with at a job, and it's out loud. You can see it. You can smell it. Like, if I go to my job every day like that, they're going to eventually say, no, you can't do that. That's public health crisis.
And then if you unvaccinated, you're definitely the one that's going to hide your zombie bite. Like,
you see what I'm saying?
Nah. This is like what's his name? Peter Gibbons. Remember Office Space? Peter Gibbons. What if there's the guy Peter Gibbons is down in this little storage room or whatever, and he's never around anybody. He's just a paper pusher. He's like, why I gotta get vaccinated? I'm never around anybody. Like, come on.
Peter better go get another job then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just go get another job, bro. It's easy. Just go get another job.
In all seriousness, no, I think this is really another way for Nike and Columbia, these big companies, to be able to save money. Really, I think it's just another way for them to be like, all right, we can cut the fat, and this is the way that they're able to. I think they just want to save money.
Because if they don't believe in science for vaccines, they shouldn't believe in the science that goes in the shoes either. So.
All right, so if it's a big deal to Nike like that, who makes the NFL jerseys?
Yeah, but
why didn't they put out a statement when Aaron Rodgers was like, I ain't getting vaccinated?
But he's a superstar.
Yeah, superstar. You got Nike right there on his chest, right?
Yeah. We know what it is. He's bringing revenue into Nike. He's bringing revenue.
I'm just saying, if it's that big of a deal, Nike just save money. That's all.
We know it's not fair out here, though. We know it's not fair. We know that, like, it's not about, what you're doing. It's like who you are. Like Aaron Rodgers versus the Joe Schmo behind the scenes at Nike. He's going to be afforded, unfortunately, privilege that the other guy can't.
True.
Right.
True.
Now, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with the show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, whatever.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Nike Air Huaraches on top right.
I like these.
Yeah, haven't these already come out before?
Yeah, up a million times. But every time they do it, it's like, all right, this is a plain shoe. But yeah, I like Huaraches.
I love these.
I think they try to make these into Air Max. Like these are supposed to kind of like rival Air Maxes, even though Nike made Air Max as well. But these are kind of like just the cheaper version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Air Jordan 4 Red Thunders.
Decent. I ain't gonna lie, they kind of decent. I can't lie.
They're all right.
I like them too.
I don't like the red under the mesh. I think that's what's throwing it off for me.
I feel you on that. I agree. It is kind of.
That was a step too far.
Mm-hmm.
These kind of have that on the like the suede. They have like a laser imprint. I don't know what it's actually called, but
oh yeah, I see.
They have like this little laser imprint of some different symbols, which is pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good luck keeping these clean.
The Air Jordan 1 Low Bread Toes.
See, these would be good if they added the Nike Air branding onto it and took away the Jordan symbol and used the old school Jordan symbol.
Yeah.
Then these would be it. But they don't do it if they don't have that branding for me.
Yeah. Purist.
Sorry.
My favorites this week, the Nike Air Force 1 High Utility Light Bulb.
I like these.
These are women's
outside today.
Yeah.
They need to be black. Like
they do. Yeah. Black would definitely set it off.
And then you said, Steve, you said these are women's. Like, but what makes these women's?
Nike brought them out as women's shoe. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd wear these. That color is fire.
In that case, then give me the 12.5 in women's,
right?
AKA 11 in men's.
I'm definitely rocking them. Now the light brown on the bottom is going to be another one that will be hard to keep clean.
Mm-hmm. Wearing them out in the snow. As soon as you step out your car, you're gonna be like,
Yeah, sadly, I agree.
For another day. Now, frustrated fans showed up at Jaguars season finale dressed in clown attire. Hated or
Yes, from clown attire. Do we have a photo of this? Oh my God.
Poverty franchise, like I said. Poverty franchise. It's something about them Florida franchises. I don't know.
What's wrong with Florida?
Sorry, Brad. I hate to do it to you, fam, but y'all got a lot going on down there.
It's that Urban Meyer stain from Gainesville to Jacksonville, huh?
It's tough.
But here's the thing, though. Like the Chiefs, when they went 2-14, right? This is what 2011, 2012. They went 2-14. You didn't have Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans said they were going to show up in all black. They didn't say they were going to show up in clown costumes. Like
this just makes you look bad. That just makes you look silly.
Imagine sitting next to somebody at a game and they got on a clown costume. Come on, bro.
And then it's Florida. So what's the temperature when they wore this? It's gotta be like it's gotta be like 70, 80 degrees.
Makeup.
Yeah, no. You wouldn't no.
What kills me now, a Jaguar sponsor said they wanted no part of the clown game on Sunday, and they're suing to get out of the sponsorship agreement with the team, saying that it's a toxic environment around the franchise and it's now a detriment in doing business together.
Wait, who's trying to get out of what company?
The sponsors.
Wow. So the whole season wasn't a detriment? Like, did this clown game really was just the end all be all? Like,
yeah, for real. Urban Meyer definitely, like, you're right. You're onto something.
Has been
trash.
This is where you're going to draw the line at this point. I don't know. I'm confused. Very confused.
Same.
The crazy thing about it, what makes it even crazier, is they did all this, and the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't come out and lay an egg. Like they kept a team out of the playoffs. Like the Colts, they kept out of the playoffs. So who's the joke on now?
Right.
I mean, they have their maybe their franchise quarterback. They just need everything else.
Yeah,
I guess.
Big maybe.
Yeah, big maybe.
Now, rapper Kodak Black unintentionally put on a show during Tuesday's Florida Panthers game. Hated her.
That's look
you, Kodak. Do you
look how crazy it is? Kodak Black mixing strip club culture in with hockey. Like, who would have thunk it? Like,
I'm glad we don't have the video to that.
Yeah. If that was on your 2022 bingo board, I applaud you.
No way at all.
Now someone said take some Viagra before the game. That'll get that circulation going right. Hated or loved it.
I love it.
Yeah,
silly. He always got something silly to say, man. Like he might be genuine in what he's saying, but come on, man. Come on.
Out of all the things you could have said.
Yeah, nah, that's funny. You see why Kodak Black brought, a date with him.
Oh man. I would hope not. Too young to be popping nose.
Let's hear what he had to say.
Allen over the phone about how he's going to handle the cold weathers. Because here's the issue with Josh Allen. Over the last 15 years, he's the second worst completion percentage in the NFL in freezing temps. The guy hates the cold. He doesn't play well. And he says the reason is because he's got bad circulation. So his toes get cold. And as you know, with your feet.
Can I give you a suggestion for him? Josh Allen listening? Can people get this message to him? Viagra. Take some Viagra for the game, baby. That'll put that circulation going right.
I don't know how to move off of that.
I don't have any medical background, so I don't really have a response to that. But you played, so you must know something.
A lot of us take Viagra, right? Because Viagra opens up the blood vessels.
A lot of us take Viagra. What do you mean?
A lot of NFL players, at least in my day, took Viagra because it opens up the blood vessels. A lot of endurance athletes, because Viagra was first a heart medicine, right? So it builds up circulation, which makes sure that it gets the circulation to the feet.
Okay.
These statements have not been evaluated by.
Man, look.
He could be right.
No, they pumped him up with drugs. They definitely.
Like, here, you cold? You cold? Pop a couple of these blue pills. Pop a couple of these.
No.
Come on.
Take Kodak Black's advice and just bring bring some extra entertainment with you.
Man,
That'll
this is what I
get
be
the blood
saying.
flowing.
That's what I be saying about football players, man. They always take it a step too far. Like they too amped, and I guess we can see why now.
CTE,
Oh,
CTE, right there.
Now, the blood was definitely boiling between these two. Wizards, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, and Montrezl Harrell separated after fight at halftime versus Thunder. Hate it or love it.
Hated it.
I hate it because y'all teammates, bro. Y'all can't be sitting around here just boxing and duking it out or whatever. Y'all got to figure it out. Like, come on, man. If there's any hopes for y'all this season, like y'all were teammates in LA too. So come on, man.
You know, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you get on the court and, you know, homeboy don't pass you the ball and you like, hey, bro, pass me the ball. And he like, I don't like your tone. And you're like, well, I don't like your face right now. And then
is that what
just one of those? That's just one of those. You know what it is? Like,
frustrated. You just frustrated.
Terrible.
Ja Morant had no interest in high-fiving anyone in a Golden State Warriors jersey, even a young kid toward the end of the Memphis Grizzlies' 10th consecutive win on Tuesday night. Hate it or love it?
Love it.
Love it. Mamba mentality.
First, let's see what happened, and then let's hear what Ja had to say after the game.
5-point lead for the Grizzlies. Screen by Clark. Morant drives, jumps and scores! Relentless. Hadn't gotten a call, thought that he was fouled numerous times, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't sell himself short. Continues to take it to the basket.
After the last bucket, you drew the foul, and you go into the stands, and there's a little kid wearing a Warriors.
Disrespectful with that jersey on.
He will say that again.
He was disrespectful
with the jersey on. No mercy for the little kid.
Nah, we in Memphis. It looked like he wanted to cheer, but he had that jersey on. I apologize to him, but in that moment, bro, take the jersey off and then dap me up.
Do you expect him back, and you want him back in a Grizzlies jersey next time?
Sure.
Yeah.
Somebody find, his information. I sent him one myself.
And here's the thing about that too. It's like now, I mean, the kid's gonna get a jersey from where there's Ja, from the team, or whoever. He's gonna get a jersey. It's whoever all three of the little kids that were there are gonna get a jersey. But they know now, like, if y'all gonna come to the game, don't disrespect me like that. Like, wear my jersey. Don't be out here with a number 30 on. But not only that, come on. These parents, like we were talking about the kids earlier, these parents got to let these kids know, look, my son know if we go into a basketball game, this who we cheer for. It don't matter what the other guy does. If you got on that dude's jersey, we not cheering for other dude over here. It's not how it's going. And so
I don't wear jerseys. I don't wear jerseys. I'm neutral. I'm a cheer for both.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's rules to engagement, and you better be on my side.
Yeah, if we go into a Chiefs jersey and we go into a Chiefs game and they playing the Browns or now the Rams, I don't care if you like OBJ. We ain't cheering for OBJ, bro. Yeah. We not doing it. We cheering for these Kansas City Chiefs because that's what we know. So
and then you don't owe kids high fives. Like,
nah. What if he slapped his hand out the way? You think that would have been too much?
I would have preferred that.
Because Josh seemed like that kind of guy. Like, watch out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Amazon reportedly considering Marshawn Lynch for Thursday Night Football studio show. Hey, we love it.
I love it.
I like it. And they better pay him more than John Gruden.
Please.
Like we talked about, these companies are trying to get money right now. They're gonna do whatever they gotta do to get some money. And look, who sells tickets?
Exactly.
Lynch.
Exactly.
He's gonna sell viewership.
Yep, exactly.
And he ain't wearing no suit.
I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna watch. I don't care who playing. I'm gonna watch.
Exactly. All right, another great show today, y'all. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. All of our listeners, whether you're watching us on social media or listening to us on 100.1 FM, we greatly appreciate you. Remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays, 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio. We out of here until next week. Go Chiefs.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.